There, but for the grace of God, go any of us. All over the country, people are losing their jobs.
Companies and banks are downsizing, declaring bankruptcy, and closing their doors.
Do you know anyone who has lost a job or suffered serious consequences because of the downturn of the economy?
Well, my mom lost her job in December. She was able to return to work in March, so she was just laid off for a while, but we didn't have that income. But luckily my mom had enough money saved that it got us through the winter, and plus my dad was working too, so it wasn't we had to spend less.
Last November I got a job at a coffee house, and 3 weeks into the job I got laid off because they just didn't have the money to keep me. And then I've gone and applied to 18 or 19 other places, and you get a feeling of not being wanted because they go and hire people with more experience.
A lot of my friends have actually gotten laid off because, the companies are smaller, they're having to close because they just don't have the money anymore to either hire more employees or just keep paying their employees.
I know someone who he actually held a job for about 10 years and then he just suddenly laid off. He spent the last probably 2 years searching for another job, and it's just tough times.
I know someone who he didn't get fired, but he sells cars and trucks. And since gas prices went up so much, nobody was buying trucks anymore. So his business took a real hit, and it actually is causing him to become depressed because business is really slow and he's losing money every month.
Yeah, in my house, no one got fired. My parents didn't get fired, but I actually got a job, and I got a steady paycheck. I'm working part-time, so I can only work so much. But I started realizing that I should help out my parents. And originally it started with just my school bill, because I go to a private school. So every week I'd give them a small sum of money and I'd be like, here, put it towards the bills. But then it became more broad, and I went and started giving more money for just the electric bill, the water bill, and it reached the point where I just give them the money. I'm like, pay on whatever bills you need paid the most. And I've had to make that sacrifice, and it's hurt me a little bit. I've had only a little bit of money to spend on me, but I don't mind so much.
For every downturn, there is a response. As it is written in the 3rd chapter of Ecclesiastes,
there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven.
A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them.
Right now we are experiencing a time of lack, a time to scale back, and a time to have less.
Next, Tiffany tells us how upset she was when she found out her parents had to sell their house.
But she realized that moving was better than losing their home altogether.
Well, when I found out that my dad had lost his job, I was really upset and I was nervous because I wasn't sure if he was going to get another job. And then when I found out that we had to sell our house, I was even more upset because we had just built a new built-in pool, and our backyard was really nice. My mom redid it. It was really sad for us. I was kind of mad at my mom and dad because I really didn't want to move, and neither did my brother. We had to talk with our parents about why we were selling the house, and then me and my brother realized that we were selling our house because we didn't want to lose our house. I was worried that we weren't going to find a new house to move into. We downsized, but the house that we moved into is really nice. At first, I really wasn't sure about moving into a smaller house because we really loved our bigger house. It was everything that I ever wanted. But when we moved, my mom told me and my brother that our rooms were going to be special. Well, my old room had a lot of space and it was really big and it was really special to me. But then when I moved into our new house, my room was smaller, but it was still special to me because my mom let me pick out the colors that I wanted for it, and it had cheerleading stuff on the wall. I really liked that.
Tiffany's story had a good ending.
But so many others have lost their homes due to the breadwinner losing their job and then falling behind on their mortgage payments.
There are many houses for sale because the bank has foreclosed on them.
Is there anything we can do to help those who are experiencing trouble during these times?
And what are churches and charities doing to help?
I know churches and charities have food drives, and actually I have a nice story about that. My little cousin, she's 9, and her 5-year-old sister were in the house, and they come over and you just see them taking massive amount of food out of the cupboards, and they're like, Mom, we don't need this food, we could take it to church. They need food for the people who don't have any. And it was so cute because they really wanted to help because everybody is so aware. When a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old little girl are aware of the problem in the economy, just everybody wants to help.
I think the working class should do what Barack Obama said in his inauguration speech, to give some of your hours to people who don't have hours, so it can be equal amount of jobs for people.
My church has a program every couple weekends where you can go and learn the skills you need to be successful in a job interview or to create your resume, something like that. So it helps you if you need to find a new job.
The church has such a huge emphasis on community, and for me, like, my church and my faith has always taught me to go and to help others. Like, I know when my friend's dad, he lost his job, my other friends and I, it was right around Christmas, and my other friends and I decided to do a grab bag so we would only have to buy one gift for everybody. So she didn't have to feel like she needed to spend all that money in her hard time.
Just being a voice of hope helps them get through it. Like, one of my friends, her dad lost her job and she was really struggling, and I just called her up once and I was like, listen, I know you're going through a rough time, but I'll be here to help you out if you need to talk, if you need to vent. And sometimes they just need that to help them get through the day.
That's definitely true. But I know a friend of mine, a church around the corner from her, has a daycare, and she works as a volunteer. And what the church does is, in their daycare, for parents who can't afford it necessarily, they give a little bit of leeway for the children so that they can come to the daycare while their parents are out looking for jobs, trying to find work, trying to support their families and things like that.
As Christians, we are called to continue to be generous even when we have less to donate.
Until the economy balances itself out again, the need among the poor is greater than ever. But how can we be generous?
Every person has a responsibility to take care of everyone else.
In Matthew chapter 5, Jesus said, "Give to the one who asks you."
And do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you.
Going through this experience has helped Tiffany to realize what's really important in life.
Next, she talks about how she really appreciates what she has.
And how she would like to help others who find themselves experiencing economic troubles.
I wasn't really happy when we got here. Me and my brother were really upset because this was a smaller house than the one that we had. And I realized that the size of your house doesn't make a home. It's your family that makes your home. The good that came out of it was that where we moved, there was more friends around us and more places to go. Before this happened to me, I thought that I needed everything. I thought I needed lots of fancy clothes and shopping every weekend. But after it happened, I realized that I really don't need all of that kind of stuff. What's more important than material things is your family and your faith and your friends. Yeah, I think I matured as a person because I realized more that you should appreciate what you have. I think we should all help each other because as Christians, that's what we're supposed to do. We're all supposed to help each other. Now that I'm stable and we're okay, I want to help people that are less fortunate than me because I know how they feel because I went through the same kind of thing. And I think that other people that are okay with the economy should help people that aren't okay. My friends have started to appreciate things more because they noticed that the economy has been really bad. I really worry about the recession leading to bigger problems in my future. I'm worried that I might have trouble getting a job. I'm not sure that I'm gonna be able to afford everything like a car and going to college. I don't think that the crisis only affects adults. I think that it affects teens too because teenagers need jobs. When they come out of college, they have to pay for their loans and they have to afford them, pay for themselves.
The teens on the street also talk about how the economy directly impacts teenagers and how they're worried about their future.